Welcome, 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 people. This is a little live show. We're going to be looking at this one Knox versus Fuego match first, and then we're going to be getting into this Charleston game, which, hey, is going to be a Charleston Tampa Bay game, which is going to be super exciting. So for basically what this is going to be is just going to I don't want to oversimplify this and just say, well, it's just a watch along. I mean, it is. It is just a watch along. I don't know how it's going to work exactly yet. We saw the feedback and we saw that people were really excited about, I guess, our short show, and so we're doing this. So right now we're waiting on Fuego, and when Knox is starting, we're gonna have a little bit to talk about. But throughout the day, we're going to have more and more people coming on, just little cameos here and there of people. So we you may just have me the entire time. We may have a few people join here and there. But before we get too far, I first want to share this. Um, our good friends out of Walking 90, they came out with a kit, and my word, look at this. I mean, just look at this. They they killed it. I mean, Olive and York are just incredible, but I mean, I love everything about this kit. I mean, the Walk-In 90, I mean, that's incredible. The vibes and chaos, and I just be chilling. I think that's Yogi. That's his big thing. So really good stuff. And I believe it's para they're doing for prostate cancer, I do believe. Actually, it says it down here in the description. I'm gonna read it to you real fast. I can figure out how to get out of this because I'm so good at technology. Yeah. So it's for the people. And so it says, "Stripes rule everything around me. We went with our iconic colors to bring you a black and blue combo. The diamond pattern on the sleeve is a ode to our logo. Vibes and Chaos, that's the sponsor. If you know, you know. And on the inside of the collar, yep, Yogi's favorite line, I'd just be chilling. And 2 cent logo graces the sleeve. Yeah, shout out to the 2 cents fam. Love those guys. And then from the blessing of Irvin Para, blue or purple ribbon will be on the kit. So, oh, it's testicular cancer. And pretty much all the proceeds will be going to this. Will be going to Para, which is really cool. So check that out. But let's get into the match that there is, the match that we're going to be talking about first. And I forgot how to do basic things. Oh man, what a great host I am. Let's look at the starting lineup. So this is the first lineup here for Fuego. I I'm always confused. I think this is starting from the back to the front. It kinda tells you a lineup, sorta. Um, Pretty much the same as what we're used to. North as the keeper, I always mess up his name, Partida, thank you. Left back, Chavez, center back, Dabo, gonna be out on the other center back, but actually, yeah, Dabo is gonna be as that center back, but they have him listed here as not the center back, it'd be a right back. So, I'm assuming here that Fuego are going to be going with their 5-back system, and whenever you're looking at that 5-back system, it's a little bit weird. Actually, Fuego's thing is coming up right now. No. Okay, so they just have Dabo playing as a right back this afternoon. They had him as a center back in the last game. Weird stuff. But they're going with the 4-3-3. I am going to stop sharing this and go over to a Hawaiian Knox to see what's up with what one Knox is doing. But Fuego are an interesting team that have I I don't know what to make of them quite yet. They started off so hot last year, right? and then this year, they didn't start off as hot, but they slowed down tremendously last game or last season as we are about to kick off in one Knox. I don't have audio for this, so I have no clue if this is, if the audio is any better, but, oh, we got a little fake kickoff. That was awesome. I I hate the fake kickoff. It's so annoying. But we're out in Knoxville, and I have no idea if the audio is any better. But listen, they have Lewis Skelton, Chrysler, here we go with a name I cannot pronounce. Vander, Plugem. I struggle with that one. Jake Keegan, classic. Kelly Rosales, Ross Johnson, Fernandez Villalobos, and Waldeck rounding out the 11 in number order because that's how everybody wants to read. Oh, there is a lady on the screen. I Look, I watch a lot of women's soccer, SEC women's soccer, and so I've watched a lot of stuff from Tennessee, which is where One Knox plays, and just some of the random moms and dads that just kind of stand there. They're just riding the screen, and you're like, "Sit down. Please sit down." Oh, man. But early on, yeah, we're Fuego or no, sorry. One Knox going out with a 4-4-2, it does appear, or the 4-4-1-1, whichever one it may be. And so far, as we get a little foul, One Knox is a team that confuses me, and I'm sure they confuse a lot of people, but they really confuse me. I'm not sure what to do with them, right? They seem like they should be really good on paper, and this is one of those things of like and we've talked about this on the USL show before, but championship players doesn't automatically make your team good. If you're watching the USL show, you're probably used to watching the championship, and it's like one of those things of championship better. But, just because someone played in the Premier League doesn't mean they're automatically the best player in the championship, right? I mean, I guess you could say, well, that's how it works, kinda, but I don't think that's fair, right? Oh, as we're ref, move, go. Alright, whatever. So, we're also gonna try some stuff with, this platform. I did this on Hammering Down and whenever I did my live show, and essentially, I was able to, um I was able to show highlights from the Twitter accounts. Obviously, I can't show the live stream, so we're gonna try that. As Bajev and can't tell who else that is. Is that I don't know. Um, um, they're just getting talked to. Sure. So far early on this match, right now that as I think that's Bajev just being a pest, just standing right in front of one Knox. I have a take. I have a take. One Knox had amazing kits last year, and this year they have good kits as this, free kick goes into the box, perfect around to the head, as I believe Keegan looks to tee one up, uh, Higgins. Keegan, I think I said Keegan. I meant to say Keegan, Jake Keegan. I think I said Higgins, as one Knox is looking to I guess they called a foul. Sure. I don't have audio. Actually, I probably can listen to this with audio. Can I listen with audio? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Um, okay, can't listen with audio. That's fine. Because I have this plugged in, and they want me to have headphones, but I don't have headphones. What I know what you're thinking, like, what 23-year-old doesn't have headphones? Me. It's me. Um, but right now, Fuego going up that left-hand side goes back into the midfield, looking to recycle out onto the right-hand side. Fuego plays it into the middle as they get to the top of the box, but probably dispossessed and whatnot. Looks to start the counterattack, but taken over by Fuego once again. But it goes out for a one Knox throw. As I was saying earlier, One Knox is a team that I don't you can tell that this is still a, McKeever team, no doubt about that, but I don't know what you're looking for, I guess, as I keep getting, that has to be a foul, right? Yeah. Um, they still look like they're trying to figure it out, right? Like, they don't really know their identity. Against Red Wolves, they lose, 2-1. They just kind of lost what was making them play well. And I had some high praises that I finally believed that Chattanooga figured it out. But, the more I watched back that one Knox, I don't know if they really did. They just didn't really create anything. And that seems to be kind of an issue. And even though one Knox can rack up the XG with the best of them, right? And this is the same thing I always say, XG counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It really doesn't count for anything. Um, they always seem to be able to rack it up. They seem to rack up that XG, but again, what does that mean? Kind of nothing. They seem to just struggle to create real chances. They get close to goal. They don't really create chances. Um, Sean Lewis was a guy I was a bit shocked didn't stick around in the USL Championship. I I was a bit surprised by that. Um, I don't really know why he didn't. Maybe the offer of being a starter versus being a backup is enough. But I still think he's championship quality starter. Maybe, this is a little bit closer to him and he wants to stay a little closer to home, which is fair. As this ball is a looking to be a throw in deep in Fuego's own half as the ball gets promptly turned over to one Knox and it's a foul again. they I will say that's another McKeever special. If you've watched him back in League One, or if you, well, I was lucky enough to see him when he was in the PDL days with Mississippi Bria. Um, they're a physical team, man. They're always a physical team. They just kind of do the dang thing all the time. That they're just kind of constantly going. So right now, it looks like one Knox neither team have really gotten a grasp of controlling this game. One Knox appears to be a little bit more fluid as that cross is put in. Oh, could not quite connect in the box, I believe. Is that Keegan or is that Villalobos? Keegan. Um, and I don't know I I don't know if they're necessarily just more fluid or if they just have more chances to play together, right? Because Fuego, I think this is only their second match, not including their they played an Open Cup. Who they play in the Open Cup? I actually don't know who Fuego played in the Open Cup. I should know that. Who they play? Monterey Bay. That makes sense. But this is only their second game playing together in League One. The Open Cup is kind of its own thing, right? Because are you going to play a team that's playing their best players? Because a group of backups against most League One teams is not good enough to win. Not good enough to win League One. Like if Monterey Bay just put out their backups, right, and they decide to take on Charlotte today, do I think Charlotte wins? Probably, because League One is just a step above championship backups, which is why I push back so heavily on the fact of, well, they were in the championship. They have championship experience. And what does that mean? I mean, for some people, it's like they played a long time. Like, hey, for one Knox, Illich, he played a long time in the championship. Whom he is not on this 18 at all. Um, Something to be of note. Um, but he played in the championship a long time. He was really good, but I mean, I think he was at Tulsa last year, and the last year that he was truly elite was 18 with Louisville. Maybe I'm being a little rude here, but that's 5 years ago. 5 years ago in soccer, in any professional sport might as well be a completely different era, and you might as well be a completely different player as Fuego is getting up in this attack, as Fuego are really putting a lot of emphasis on going out on the wings. I don't think they touched the ball in the center of the park yet, in that final third. They really are bombing up these wings, which I feel like is, it's almost a standard of Fuego, but I'm actually gonna check that real quick because I'm really intrigued, to see if that is the case. Um, as Fuego are looking to have a throw in straight into the box, as finally a touch in the middle of the park falls into a dangerous area, but one Knox deals with accordingly. Why'd I say it like that? Accordingly. Whatever. Oh man. Whatever. Let's see if I can figure this out. As that ball is all the way back to the Fuego keeper and looks to play it out from the back. Let's see if I can figure out how to tell where all this was going last, because I usually can tell pretty decently with where things were coming from, but I can't find it right now. As they are still working the back. And oh, there's a random guy blocking the game. This is again, Knoxville just does this. This is just kind of what they do, especially with a like whenever I watch the women's volunteer team, there's just random parents just standing right in front of the camera, just staring them on. As there is we had someone, our first guest joining us. Yo, what's up, Yogi?
Ta-da! Technology. I figured it out. What's up, man? How are you? All right. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I can't hear shit.
Oh man. Oh, I was
There you go. I can hear you
me.
now.
It was me. I'm the problem.
Oh, okay. I
There's
thought I was like losing my mind.
nah. I I've been having this issue. And I showed this off earlier.
Ooh,
Man,
that's nice.
the walk-in 90 kit is incredible, man.
Thank you, man. So I'll talk about it real quick. It wasn't even my idea, really. Big shout out to Chip, Eb, and Kyle. They're the ones that kind of spearheaded this. But the reason why we created this whole kit, it has a real special meaning. If you look down in the right corner, you see the purple ribbon. That is for Ivan Para. For those who don't know, Ivan Para is the lead striker. He's the lead man for NoCo. He went through a tough time this past off season. He got diagnosed with testicular cancer in the
Yep.
off season, and he's battled back from it, had the surgery and everything. Everything was good, but that's something that can knock anyone off his feet, especially a pro athlete. It can really
Yeah.
derail your career. And it wasn't maybe 5 years ago. If you get diagnosed with cancer, that's probably the end of your career. Like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, and not to me personally, not enough was being talked about it. And I get it, coverage in the lower leagues are a little bit more scarce and things like that. But still, this is one of the lead players in USL League One. Like, he's one of the leading faces, and I think we just wanted to do something just to bring highlight and coverage to that. And and I know the new thing, maybe like 3 years ago, the hot thing was getting a
That's one
star.
Ooh, whoa. What a goal. Was that Jake Keegan? Oh, of course it was. What?
Cardio FC.
Hey, he doesn't stop. Man, that was a strike. What happened with Fuego there, though? What?
Fuego defense is a thing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a thing last year, and then they did the thing that they do these last 2 years, which is wait until the last minute to sign anybody. I mean, that's a horrible replay, Knoxville. That's not great. There we go. Here's a good one. Maybe.
Yeah, that's ooh. He's definitely heard the cardio Keegan FC comments. Yeah. I don't blame him, man. I'm happy for Keegan, man. He's getting back to his natural flow.
Yeah, I was really confused about Greenville last year because he left, went to Madison, and then he gets the homecoming. Whatever happened in the background, plenty of people have talked about rumors that they hear, but whatever's true is whatever's true. But he moves on from Greenville, a place that he was frankly adored as. One Knox has another chance. What a freaking ball. I played one time wide of the goal. And he goes down to McKeever down in One Knox. And it seems like, can you say that he revitalized his career after just having really
100%. I mean, honestly, when you think about like Keegan, like he's one of the few guys that's been in this league since its inception. Yeah. And he's also, I think he's the only guy in the league to play for 3 clubs. I think
who was the guy that went from North Texas to Greenville, and I think he ended up at Omaha. Who was I can't remember.
Yeah, it might be a few others. Alex Bruce is another one that rings him. Yeah, so he's not the only one, but for Keegan, I think the thing about him to kind of knock on him was outside of that for the first 2 years in Greenville, he hasn't really shown much. Like, yeah, it was one point where him and Terzaghi were like head to head going for the all-time goal scoring record, and Keegan was like ahead of Terzaghi, and I'll never forget it. Terzaghi tied him and then blew past him, and Keegan didn't score after that. So, Madison, I didn't think Madison was the right fit for him. We all know how that season ended up for him. Greenville, he comes back to Greenville, but it was never as if he was the starting guy again. He was kind of fighting with Lapovitz, and he never got his footing. So I think going to One Knox and going to a place where you are the guy, I think fits perfectly for Keegan. And I mean, it's a good fit for him. I feel happy for him. I mean, One Knox is a surprisingly good team. I like a lot of the depth on this team with Chrysler and Skelton and things like that. I do have concerns about the rest of the squad depth and how that goes if injuries occur, but that's kind of like an overall issue in League One of sorts right now.
Yeah, with this team, I mean, just One Knox in general, and before you hopped on, I was kind of giving this spiel, and I think I posted it on the USL show account at one point, as Fuego, as always, is looking to bomb up the wings as they are on the outside of the box, looking to put a cross in. Good cross in, but great defense. Was that Skelton that got that out? Almost did the splits. That was impressive. I said this before, championship player doesn't mean that they're too good for League One, right? And One Knox came in and just started buying all the championship players. They started buying all of the, League One guys. And just because they played in the championship doesn't mean they're suddenly a championship quality team, right? And I think a lot of people got really hyped up by the names, but we do this too, and people have talked about this with I'm blanking now. Indy 11 in the championship of we're remembering the greatest hits, but the greatest hits were 5 years ago.
Yeah. Man. Ooh. Okay. I might be behind you. I just saw the play.
Oh yeah.
Right behind you. Repeat the question because I was watching this, trying to make sure I didn't.
You're good. Basically, like right now, One Knox has a bunch of names that League One and championship players and fans know, but I said this before, just because they play in the championship doesn't mean they're too good for League One.
Oh yeah,
We've seen we've
yeah.
seen so many championship players go down and not be good enough for League One. And I'm really worried that we got excited by the names and the teams that these guys for One Knox played on, and we forget that just because they played there doesn't mean they were good enough.
Well, I think about it. I think about that in a couple of ways. So one way is Matt, who does River City 93 with me. You can follow him at RV's Red. We were having a conversation one day. He told me this important thing about all the players that are professional players in America or across the world. There's not much separating them.
Yeah.
It might be an opportunity here, there, or whatever. What it really comes down to is just how quickly can they process stuff. So, like a player in League One might process something in 5 seconds, where a championship player might process it in 3, and an MLS player process it in 1. Like it, and I'm just using those numbers. Like it might be bigger and bigger, whatever. But it's all about just processing stuff. Like if you took any of these guys and put them in MLS, like they might be a little bit slower just because the process of how they do things is slower. Versus if you bring in an MLS guy, the process of how he does things is going to be quicker. That's why guys like Gabriel Obiton and Miguel Ibarra do so well in League One. It's not because physically they know they can't keep up with Neil Vignoles and and like other guys and stuff like that. It's just because they can process stuff so much quicker. They're able to be there on the field.
Yeah. So I don't know where you are. I don't know what time you're at. I am hitting right at 21.
I just
I'm 40 seconds ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, ball to the woods. Oh, that's tough.
But the other part about that is like what it really comes down to is just money and opportunity.
Right.
Like a lot of guys not like there's no difference between championship and League One. It's just all about the money you might get to be a top earner in League One, you might be sitting on the bench at a upper tier championship team.
Right.
Do you want to do that? Some guys do. Some guys are like, all right, cool. Like if I'm 28 years old and a championship team that I know is going to contend for a title is coming to me with like the same package as a League One team that's, like, hey, we're one of the top League One teams. Is there much difference there? Maybe not. If I'm 22 and I'm looking to get on the field, maybe I'm like, I don't want to be on the bench. I want to go play, so let me go to League One. It's just all about opportunity and like pay costs and things like that. I think the thing also with League One that's starting to hedge out now that we're in year 5 is like you're starting to see like a pay structure and you're starting to get like that. Some teams are taking it where, all right, we got this amount of funds, we're going to dump it all into our start 11, while other teams are like, all right, we're going to spread it out across the 18.
Right.
So things like that are happening as well.
Yeah. See, where I kind of get lost, I guess, in the lower league sauce, right, is that, we see so many players are making the drop, right? And people are like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? But then look at what Union Omaha did, getting a guy drafted, signed. That was weird. But it's the same thing that started happening in the championship. And I don't think a lot of championship fans are willing to accept the fact that those levels are closer than they think, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just like MLS fans don't want to recognize, hey, the championship and League One are not as far as we think. I mean, we're seeing young kids leaving MLS organizations to go down to championship and League One to play immediately. And guess what? They're still getting the big money move. Yeah. And they're not being hampered by weird Garber bucks or whatever it is.
I mean, it's the same thing where League One fans won't admit that Nisa is like comparatively on level with us. Like if you put Chattanooga FC, who else is really good in Nisa?
I mean, House just beat. Yeah, I mean, House is in Nisa though.
Like Chattanooga FC, maybe. Cal United Strikers before they close down. Like if you put them in League One, I'm pretty sure they can contend. Like Cal Force can contend. Chattanooga FC can contend. Like they'll be in the hunt. What I think it comes down to is just like mainly Post fans don't want to admit, like, the gap is there. But also, it's like, what do you focus on? You're going to see it, and you're going to prop it up more than what you don't see. You
For
know,
sure.
like I guarantee you that if you took 5 teams in USL League One, so if you give me Tormenta, Greenville, Richmond, Union, and Nelco, I'll just take those 5, right? If I put them in the championship, I'm guarantee you 4 of those teams are finishing more mid-table. They can finish. I think the difference is not so much in the player quality, it's just the player quantity. Like,
Yeah.
it's the quantity of players you can have in your roster. Where you like USL League 1 through 6 is quality, right? There's a little bit of drop off between 7 to 10. There's another drop off. There's another drop off. Where in championship, it might be 1 through 8. You know, because let's be real, in championship, 1, pay structure is a little bit better. 2, you guys are be like, hey, we're the second division. If you're an MLS guy, like, hey, you can still play that here, like Juan Agudelo for your boys, right? Tyler Paxton, you know, or guys that just can't, like, guys that are 14 through 19 on an MLS roster are starting guys in USL Championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that how it goes.
So let's get back to, I guess, what we're seeing on the pitch, right?
Yeah.
Tonight. You know, Fuego, they have this weird ability to look really good and awful at the same time, more so than I think anybody else in League One. At least, like, some of the bad teams that we've seen in League One. I hate to say it. I don't know if Kyle's going to listen to this ever, but I mean, Madison was just bad for a while, right? And they had some bright spots, but they were mostly just bad. NOCO at times, you know, they were just kind of average last year, good, a little bit bad, but Fuego has this ability to just be horrible and then also be one of the best teams I've ever seen take the field. And I don't understand what the switch is. And we're seeing it a little bit in this game where, again, we talked about it, the Fuego defense, where it looks horrible. They're giving up space, especially right now as I'm watching it. This left-hand side is just wide open for them at all times. But then whenever they start attacking, it's like, oh, that's where they spent their money.
No. I mean, I think the thing about Fuego is that's very weird. Is really like their roster build is because it's like, I don't know. Like, to me, in USL League One, to be a really competitive team in the attacking part, you need 2 things. You need a finisher and you need someone that can create. If you don't have those 2 things, your chances in League One is pretty slim. Like, I'm guaranteed if you go look at all the bad teams in USL League One over the years, they didn't have one or the other or both. You look at the good teams, they have both, right? Fuego this year, I don't like defensively. No one stands out on their defense where you're like, ooh, I gotta watch this guy, right? Midfield, you have Victor Flauk, who's a former Richmond kicker, but he's really like more defensive. Like, I don't think about him starting attacks. I know last year I think he had 6 goals, so I mean, of course he scored. You know, of course he scored. Definitely, I think he scored twice against Richmond too, which was weird.
Teams I would love to see how that lines up. I feel like players get revenge goals all the time in League One. I feel like it's a constant thing that happens more in League One than any other league. Maybe it's just because everybody plays each other 3 times, but it happens at a ridiculous pace.
It's insane. I think the reason why you see the ebbs and flow of Fuego of being like really, really good at games and then turning really, really bad is just the way how they play. Like, they take forever to build out of the back. The midfield kind of looks too spread out, but then they can get it behind you. The attack can be disappearing. It really depends on Bevjev. Is he getting the ball in the right areas? I don't know. Like I said at the beginning of the year, I wasn't too high on Fuego just because of the initial roster build and what they brought in.
I mean, we didn't know a roster until like the week before.
We didn't. Kyle made the famous joke of, like, I will continue to make jokes about your team until you sign players.
Yeah. Are Fuego? Are they already making a sub in the 30th?
It wouldn't shock me.
What are they doing? Who is that? Is Lewis? Or Lemus? Who is he coming on for? I'm not saying that Fuego are overreacting, but they may be overreacting. As I am looking at my other screen, and Charleston is going once again with a 4-3-1-2 kind of thing, as they go down to St. Pete. Yeah, they are making a sub for, I can barely read that. Who is that for?
Yo, can I just say,
Casillas.
Ooh. Can I just say, like, last year, me and my wife went to Charleston for our anniversary, and I got the chance to see Charleston versus Sacramento.
Yeah.
Can I just say, man, Charleston has done the biggest 180 this year. Out of all the teams across USL, they have done the biggest 180. For where that team was last year, and seeing there and being at that stadium, to watching them now,
I don't want to oversimplify it because they have better players now. They have younger players. They have real talent. But it's the coach, right? I mean, we saw it with Memphis last year, and they lose Ben Bierman to Charleston, and Memphis out of nowhere made this big jump out of that people weren't expecting, and then they refused to pay their coach. He goes and makes a quote-unquote lateral move, and he's
to be honest with you, I don't think it's a lateral move. I think it's it's probably a better move. It's a sleeping giant move. Like,
you're right.
Think about it. You're the guy that goes into this is the thing. Like, granted, everyone knows I'm a Richmond Kicker fan. You got beef with Charleston, whatever. The thing about Charleston is they, for the longest, were kind of just lumbering around in League One. Like, they were mid-table. They weren't bad, but they weren't competing for a title either.
Yeah.
Until like maybe the last 2 years, where it was just like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, I remember going to games where it was Richmond versus Charleston and seeing that stadium where it was packed, it was loud. And last year I went there, and the supporter section was like, they were having more conversations about what kind of beer they're gonna have than what's going on the field. Like, it was sad.
As Fuego are getting, that's a foul. Are they going to put it in the box, or is this? I think they just hand a pin.
Ooh.
I think that was outside the box.
Yeah, that does look outside the box.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on though. I mean, they are a sleeping giant. They can be. I mean, that fan base is there, right? And South Carolina has been just a hotbed, and listen, we joke about League One being Southeast, just the Southeast League, but I mean, me being from the Southeast, and I guess Virginia's, it's weirdly Southeast.
We're the ACC. We're fine.
Yeah. But I mean, largely that area of the country had just been ignored, as this is outside the box, and it's if I'm a Fuego player, or if I'm just a player in general, I kind of hate this spot because you just don't have enough room to get it up and down. You're just kind of looking to drive one low, which I'm a little surprised they don't have anybody just laying Sean Lewis and put anybody just laying down, because that feels like the only way this is going to.
Is this Victor taking it? Oh, Victor is taking the free kick.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see what happens here as he lines up, takes it. Oh my God.
He can do that.
Oh.
He can do that.
Man, what a chance. I mean, good follow-up save by Lewis, who took a mouthful of bar. His face went straight into that post. Yeah. But I mean, that part of Charleston, I mean, it's a really good area, and the fans there are legit. And the thing is that with they build the new stadium, and they're sharing it with University of Charleston, which just tells you the owners are wanting to commit to this team. And if they're willing to outspend Memphis, which by all things that we've seen, Memphis wasn't willing to spend in general, so maybe not that hard. If you're a Charleston fan, you're excited because it's a little bit different than Hartford and what we saw with bringing in Tab Ramos, because everybody knows who Tab Ramos is. it's going to be easier to recruit players to play for Tab Ramos because U.S. men's national team,
Yeah.
right? But if you are someone who was in the championship last year, or you're someone who's looking to get the big money move, you look at what they did, Memphis did in the championship last year, and you realize that Ben Pierman's the guy. He is, and he's going to have an MLS job one day, if as long as he can just somewhat stay on this path. Why wouldn't you go there?
I'm gonna say this now. And within the next 2 years, Atlanta United fires that coach. Ben better be on that short list. If they smart. I mean, like, honestly, like, just think about it, man. Like, what he did with Memphis last year was amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. What he's doing with Charleston, and granted, it's only 4 games in, but the complete turnaround of that team and the culture is different, man. Like, you can boil it down to say, yes, it's better players. Yes, it's better coaching. What it really comes down to is, like, it's a culture. Like, it's a whole culture shift.
Yeah.
It's like this team that finally realized, like, oh, snap, we're one of the big boys in USL. Like, there's a reason why Richmond went down and Charleston stayed up.
Yeah.
I admit it. But finances, like, the money's there in Charleston. It just needs to be tapped into, you know? And I mean, look, man, if Ben goes on to win USL championship, or even get this team to the final, I might have to make that trip.
Hey, I'm looking for an excuse to go to Charleston. As Charleston, by the way, just missed a sitter. On the counterattack, it's square middle of goal, and I think that might be Booth. Just pushed it wide, even though he had the entire goal to shoot on. And Tampa Bay is doing the thing that doesn't make sense to me, as Fuego has a chance right now going up the middle of the park, and they are wants to get fouled. And I was saying this at the beginning of the show. McKeever's teams, all the way back from when he was with Mississippi Bria, and I remember playing them in the PDL, and all the way to the Menace, now to one Knox. This team is so mindlessly physical for no good reason. And like, it's not even we're going to win the ball. They see that they're going to get beat, and they're just like, it's just a yellow card. There's enough of us to deal with us being suspended.
He's very Chattanooga-ish.
Man, so with Chattanooga, I made the horrible mistake of going against my word and saying that I was, in my predictions, I was going to lock a League One team to win, because I should have realized that for last year. Just never predict a League One team to win. It's stupid.
No. You don't make that prediction till September. That's why we wait.
Yeah.
We wait. You didn't see no power rankings come out of walking on the end. That's because we're like, we need 10 games. Do a power ranking.
With Chattanooga, as this free kick goes straight into the wall, Chattanooga confuses me, because, I mean, Coach Ziggy goes in and he tries to do a similar idea of what happened in the past with the last 2 coaches, where the press is there, but they are more focused on this counter press and trying to make other teams make mistakes. And by God, if your touch is too heavy, they are just like a swarm, and they swarm the ball. Yeah. But then they just do nothing with it. It just becomes the most lateral game. And then they get up to the box, and they beautifully work the ball to the box, and they just stop. Yeah. And it's like, you were doing so well. Why does the box scare you? Drive into the box, at least force someone to make a tackle on you. You'll probably win the penalty more often than not. They make no sense to me.
I think it's the thing that you could probably relate to this as a coach. It's easy to coach defense.
Yeah.
Hard as hell to coach attack. It's hard. It doesn't matter what level you're on. It's hard to coach offense, And for me, Chattanooga, I think they're going to struggle a little bit attacking-wise, just because you lost so much talent. And so much of that team is now overturned and gone on to other places because of the situation that happened last year. I think it's going to take time. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Chattanooga is not what we come to know Chattanooga to be in years past. and that's not a bad thing. I think it just is going to take time. Like they got a good win over one Knox, but if you go back and look at it, like if they defend, if Skelton 1v1 defended on the second goal doesn't happen, and I'm trying to remember how the second goal for Chattanooga happened, then Chattanooga right now is still scoreless in USL League One.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things that as Villalobos just rocketed one just barely over. Did they get the keeper get a touch to that?
Also, I just realized Jalen Chrysler, who's a center back, is in the box as an attacking mid.
Hold on, what?
That last attack by one Knox, it was led by Jalen Chrysler, who is a
What
center
are they
back.
doing? What are they doing? No, see, the thing is, it's like with a lot of McKeever teams that I remember in the past, they did that 3-back system with like a defense. It wasn't really a true 3-back system. It was like a defensive mid that sat really deep, and then it allowed somebody to go forward, whether it be the defensive mid or one of the center backs. But this doesn't feel like even last year's One Knox team. So I can't tell if that's just a continuation of that or what. As One Knox are in again, that was awful by Fuego. I'm not going to lie. But
yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know. This year is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun USL League 1 year. We'll see.
For people who aren't tuning into Walking 90, I believe every Thursday.
Every other Thursday because we're tired of shit.
Hey, that's fair. That is fair.
I think between me, Ebony, Kyle, and Brandon, I don't think Chip does anything outside of Walking 90. I think we have 9 combined shows between us.
That makes because I know Kyle has NBA plus Talking Flock and then 90. I don't think Chip. I know Eb has Shea Butter. Right? She's with Shea Butter, right?
Yeah, she's with Shea, and she does some things with 2 cents. I remember seeing her through Walking 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot, man. That's when we're like every other Thursday. But real quick, like I just want to shout out, and I always, the community USL League One has really grown. And I'm just not talking about like the fan bases. Really like the independent markets, the independent writers and podcasters, whatever, it's really grown.
Yeah.
From when this league first started off, it was only League One fun, and they were talking about the league, and then there was I can't remember the other one. God, it was another League One podcast the year before. But now you got us, you got League One Updater, you got League One on the Rocks, League One Under the Sea. So you got 4 different teams covering the league. Then I think every team outside of Tormenta, Greenville, which I'm really shocked Greenville does not have a fan podcast.
They did at one point, didn't they?
They did. I don't know what happened to it. Tormenta did too. But I don't know what happened to it. But to have every team in the league kind of have someone talk about them, it's fantastic, man. It's good to see that these local markets are getting the coverage that they deserve,
Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of championship fans kind of take for granted a little bit of, every team has somebody. Whenever we're going to play that team, we'll just listen to one podcast by that person and get a general idea. Yeah. That was not the case with League One. I mean, before I was really getting into watching League One, I mean, I enjoyed it because I liked watching Greenville. But other than that, I was like, I really got nothing. And it was just because they signed so many, including Harks, like former FC Cincinnati guys, right? And I was like, I know these guys. And so I watched Greenville. Then I was like, okay, let's watch Walking 90. Let's get a little bit of like what's going on here. And then it was, League One Under the Sea, of course, and then League One Updater and, League One Fun, all those guys. It was like finally getting someone to break down of stuff that you couldn't watch. And that was something that's really hard to come by because not everybody can watch the game. Not everybody is, dumb and has no concept of like how to manage their free time. And so, they can update you on that. And it's really nice. As Fuego have another dangerous free kick, and actually Charleston also has a dangerous free kick in the same exact spot. This is interesting to watch. Not saved by Sean Lewis. He was a guy that I was shocked to see go down to League One. Was that a goal? Oh no, went behind the net for Charleston. But Sean Lewis was a guy that I thought was. I was a bit shocked that FC Tulsa moved on from him. I know that they had Warmel, who is a hometown guy, but he was also a really good keeper that I was very shocked that they moved on from.
Yeah.
And One Knox has absolutely benefited from having him.
Yeah, they look solid. Really solid back there. I think one of the cool things about USL League One that a lot of people might not, if you don't watch the league, you wouldn't really pay attention to it. The goalkeeper play is amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. Like Rashid Nuhu, Akira, Ant-Man. Like you got some phenomenal goalkeepers. You know,
I've said this before, and I said this last year with the championship when Nate Steinwasser was first making his splash on the championship with Detroit City. I said it in my preseason preview that on my own hammering down that the one thing that you can translate to every single level is goalkeeping. Yeah. No matter what, goalkeeping translates. Because it's not like someone who plays for horrible example. They play for Bayern Munich and then they decide to go down and play for Des Moines Menace. You know, the striker for Bayern Munich, it's going to be incredibly obvious. But, you know, does that necessarily translate when they go up when someone's just a little bit better? Not really. But goalkeeping seems to be fairly consistent on how good someone is. And you can always tell. Someone like Nuhu blows my mind.
It's one thing that my old assistant coach used to tell our goalkeepers all the time was, I can hide a bad midfielder. I can't hide a bad goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You know, like goalkeeper is probably the most. You have to be athletic. Like you have to have great reflexes and you have to be athletic to be a goalkeeper. You know, like that's what it comes down to. You know. So yeah, man, I would love it if USL did an All-Star game, but I would also love it if they did goalie wars. I would just love it. I would just wonder who would win. I would, just wonder. So,
I mean, I'd put a lot of money on Nuhu. I would put so much money on Nuhu, and the fact that Omaha got him on an extension. How? What did they?
They realized, man. Look, it's the same thing in League One. Like across League One, the great teams in USL League One have. I said it before. They had two things. It's really three things: a creator, a finisher, and a great goalkeeper.
Yeah,
you got those three things. You're going to compete.
I'm going to see if League One has posted a highlight of this goal, so we can look at it on here. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, because One Knox did not. Yeah, here we go. See, this is one thing I figured out from doing my own live streams is that if you post to Twitter highlights, they can't get you. Let's see if I can pull this up because I want to look at this goal from One Knox for people who were not able to see it. Let's mute this. Yeah. So all comes from just a poor turnover, right? And just a wonderful strike. And I didn't realize that he got a touch to it. But the one thing that I think whenever I noticed here that this ball comes in, Fuego tries to play it kind of a poor touch, bounces back, and all game long, there has been nobody in this middle of the park space. They are leaving some kind of space open. I understand that they are coming close to get the ball on a throw in, but I mean, that's already been 5 seconds past. There should be somebody rotating to this spot, and there's just two people, and Keegan gets the shot off and deflects right off the keeper's hands. I didn't even notice the temper tantrum. That might be my favorite thing. Oh my God. What is that? What? What is that?
I mean, that's if there's any knock against Fuego is they don't have a destroyer. They have midfielders that can create and kind of do a box to box job, but they don't have anyone that can just sit in and just clean up that space. Now, granted, on that play, is merely like a bad, like is a multitude of bad touches and not clearing the ball out effectively. Getting it out. But for Fuego, man, if you listen to a Fuego pod, you hear a lot of the fans' frustration when it comes to this team sometimes.
I get it. I mean, for as skilled players as they have, the ability for them just to kind of lose their place and take these heavy touches and these awful like runs at the ball, it just doesn't make sense on how they consistently seem to do it.
Yeah.
And I just got to watch the Tampa on the volley. Why did he kick it? Man. But that's just kind of been the Fuego experience, I suppose. It's incredibly frustrating to watch for me too. I obviously I don't watch as intently as Fuego fans do. Granted, Fuego fans have their own, issues with the club. But I don't know how they continue just to make these same mistakes over and over and over again. As I am switching real fast over to this Tampa Bay Charleston game during a halftime. So
I'm about to roll out, my man. My wife just got home from a long day at work, so I'm going to go spend some quality time with her. But I appreciate you doing this, man. Inviting me on.
Hey,
got to do it again next time.
Hey, good luck with your master's stuff, by the way. You're almost there.
I know, man. I'm trying, dude. I just got out of class before I hopped on here, so
I'm
almost done.
Almost done, brother. All right, man. When's the next show? Is it next Thursday?
No, we got a show coming up on this Thursday.
This Thursday?
Cool. Yeah, this Thursday. So hopping over to Walking 90, we'll be talking about what's going on with the league, what's going on with US Open Cup, and some other things like that. We'll try to keep the show loose and fun.
Yes, sir. All right. See you, Yogi.
Yeah.
All right. That was fun. That was a good time. As I am now over to this Charleston match. And I may have to hop off in just a little bit. Because the fiance is trying to call me. So I'm going to hop off at halftime for this Tampa Bay game. But yeah, hey, that was a fun chat. Check out the Walking 90 kit too. It goes to a great cause. It's cheaper than your club's kit, I promise. I am turning up in this apartment. It's so great. As Charleston, they're just still on the attack. And it looks like Tampa Bay has gone back to this flat back four again, where they are just defending in this 4-4-2, and I don't get it. I don't really understand what they're trying to go for. I don't really understand what Neil Collins is doing here. I don't know if this is a personnel issue, and I understand that Lewis Hilton being out for a while, really struggled, but he's back. They shouldn't be doing this still. If you look out at, if you say, well, it's because of Leo Fernandez, I get it. He's a great player, but there's no reason to be going to change your entire system because of one player. If you're playing this 3-5-2 to get the ball to Fernandez, as there's a shot on goal by Tampa Bay sent out for a goal kick. Is that? I didn't even check who scored it. I think it might be Morton. I can check right now. Cal Jennings always looks like a discount Zlatan. Maybe not. Oh man. Bless it. Hey. But we're about to get across, and I'm gonna check to see who. I think it's Morton. No, not Morton. Not Morton. Oh my god, he was at I'm struggling today. It's been a day, y'all. Been a day. Muse. Morton played at Memphis a couple years ago, and I was like, former Memphis goalkeeper. That's all I got there. And we're finally starting to see Tampa Bay kinda pin their ears back and do something, and as they're about to get a throw in on the right side, ball goes back out to Antley. Antley plays it out, goes up the line. Antley goes to put a cross in. He calls him offside? Really? Antley didn't dispute it, but I didn't think so. What do I know? I'm an idiot. How many times have I said that? I'm gonna change this to halftime. Yeah, as yeah, Muse is, going to line up this kick. I I still just don't really understand what Tampa Bay are going for. When it comes to Tampa Bay, when they're trying to defend, I just don't really understand why they're sticking with this 4-4-2, and as that ball goes out for a corner for Charleston, as Traeger, who Traeger was the guy I was really high on with Atlanta United too. He was the guy that I feel like I say this a lot. He was the guy I was a bit shocked didn't get a chance, to go out to, I was a bit surprised he didn't get a chance to go up with Atlanta United proper, as that ball really should have been a they are getting a goal kick now. Mm. Um, I I guess I just with Traeger, he's a guy that has all the talent in the world. He's someone that can really make a big impact, and for Charleston, I think we're seeing that too. He's finally getting that potential realized, and there's a thing of people are like, "Well, I don't know if we wanna go with all these MLS 2 players or if they were really that good and da, 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 da." But Atlanta United is one of those funky ones where they always seem to put out pretty good players. I can only think of one guy that left, Atlanta United too that was just a true bust. I won't obviously say names 'cause I don't wanna Oh, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, oh my god. That was if you're not watching the game, that was a own goal of a pretty hard back pass that took an awful bounce, went off of Muse's shin, and went straight into the goal. Oh, no. Oh, that hurt. Oh my gosh. Who was that? Was that, Dodson that played that ball back? Uh, I'm in shock. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. Oh, man. What's up, Harry? That was if you're a Muse, you're kinda sitting there saying, "What was that back pass?" Like, what was that? But if you're Dodson, who I think played that ball back, was that Dodson? Or was that Archer? That was Archer. Oh, Archer, baby. If you're Archer, you want Muse to control that, but if you're Muse, you're like, "What was I supposed to do? Why did you play it back so hard? You didn't have to play it back like that." I I think it's gonna go down as a Muse own goal because it deflected off him at the end. "Yo, what's up, Robert? How you doing, man?" Um, oh, that hurt. I feel so bad. I don't I don't think I've felt that bad for an own goal in a long time. That one hurt a lot. Jeez, man. Um, yeah, that was a howler. As I mean, Tampa Bay, I think, are getting bailed out a little bit here. And as I was talking, and I wanted to That's not a foul. I'm gonna harp on this a lot. Them sticking with this 4-4-2 is not working. They had their breakthrough, and it was the whole USL Tactics show, which if you missed the show yesterday, you missed a pretty good tactics show by John Morrissey. I I I kind of sat there and he didn't touch him. Whatever. Um Basically they got away from what made them really good, which was the 3-5-2. And you can blame some injuries along the way and say it was definitely the injuries, definitely the injuries, definitely the injuries. But I'm sorry, if Leo Fernandez is the only reason that you're playing this 3-5-2, uh, I don't know. And I made this comment last night of Mark Lowry of how long is too long to stick with a certain system. At what point do you become a slave to your system? As there's another foul, and that's just kind of been this game so far. Um, at what point do you become a slave and you become too reliant on your system and you're not willing to change? And Tampa Bay is doing that, but if it's not broke, why are you trying to fix it? Why why are you tinkering? And I don't really understand. So I I it doesn't really make sense to me. And this is Charleston have another counterattack. I really like watching Charleston play, man. I'm really worried about them. They have a really fun counterattack to them. They have a fun way of playing the game. And I just really enjoy watching them. They're just so good. um no duh, they're really good. I mean, Pierman just got coach of the week or coach of the month, excuse me. I'm going to look at Charleston and some of like my personal stats I keep up with just to make sure I'm speaking correctly about them. Because I'm going off what I remember off the top most of the time. I'm just trying to remember the film I watched, but I like to as Charleston's trying to create chances. They're such an aggressive team, and just like Memphis was last year, just super aggressive. Um, Really fun to watch. But we have these matches. Their last one, obviously, against Hartford, and despite holding 55% of the ball, they really still felt like they were counterattacking the whole time, you know. And really, a large part of Charleston is something that I talked about with Chattanooga, is they're really fast. They try to force you to make mistakes, even though that they may control the ball. They still, unlike Chattanooga, they kind of do something with the ball, but they have this way of holding onto the ball. And when they don't have the ball, forcing the mistake. And this is also my knock with Chattanooga Red Wolves of they don't really force the issue. They don't cause forced mistakes. Charleston is actively trying to force the mistake, and whenever the mistake happens, they go in hard. They go in and they try to get that counterattack going ASAP. And if it doesn't work, they'll just recycle play and start it again and just try to bomb rush you with speed. As we're starting to see a little bit more of that kind of a three-man back line out of Tampa Bay. I don't get it. This is just gonna be this is my rant as Tampa Bay looks like, or Charleston looks like they have a chance on goal, but just a slightly too heavy touch. Unfortunate, as they had a really good chance there, but the moment's not done. As like I said, they are recycling the ball now, looking to put into a cross, goes into the box, looking to possibly go back out wide. Ball goes out wide with the overlapping run, goes out to the top of the box as that cross is finally put in and just kind of left-ish, and that ball is kept in very well, actually. And now Tampa Bay, that was a weird possession. That was a really strange possession. I'm going to see if Tampa Bay has posted this highlight yet. That was so sad. That was you hate to see it. I'm going to show the replay. Okay.
Got a goal in the Open Cup as well.
There we go. And whoop. So if I'm Muse, I'm pretty mad at Archer here, right? So this play where he turns back, there's no one. There is no one here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but there is no one in this space. Look across. There is no one in that space. There is no reason to drive the ball like this in the air. There is not a single reason. You play that ball on the ground every single time. If you don't believe that you can get it there, and you could say, well, it wasn't going to go out. It wasn't going to go out for or it wasn't going to go in the goal, so it wasn't that bad. Look, it's easier for me to say I am unathletic guy. I'm unathletic guy who's talking about the game. As Charleston has a really good chance that right here on the side of the box. They've played the ball through, doesn't quite get to Tampa Bay, closes it out. Right here, there's no reason to play this ball as hard as he did. And if you're a professional athlete, if you're a professional soccer player, you are good enough. And I can't tell if he scuffs this, but the way the ball trails back in, it looks like he definitely meant to get underneath it. It's like he didn't even look at where Muse was. Muse, see where he tries to retrieve the ball, he's at the top of the box. It's not like Muse was like deep in the box just waiting. He was at the top of the box ready. You don't have to hit it like that. Fine, Muse, I am fuming. Archer owes like a dinner to Muse, especially if they can end up getting this win. Man, Peterman is just giggling. He's just out on the bench giggling as this one Knox match has started back. Because I'm going to be getting off at halftime. Oh, there's a perspective effort, but not a far one off. Because I'm going to be getting off here at halftime to talk to the fiance. I'm not going to be turning that one back on. I'm going to be putting full focus on this as Brajas, I think, was the one that had that shot on goal that just started slicing wide. One thing that, as we're about to get, it looked like Archer wanted to play that ball back, but did not trust in himself and put it back up to Dodson. That if we were about to see 2 own goals in one night from the same pass, I was going to lose as there's a long ball out wide, a little short or a little long, depending on your perspective. I don't really. That shot just kind of, that chance just kind of ended. Is someone calling me? No. All right. So I guess for people who are watching along, listening along, we don't know if we're going to be doing these like round match, I guess, discussions at least all the time, or like these round, not discussions, but like focusing on multiple matches, because it can become a lot. But if you're so far, obviously, we're going to start, if people like this, for these watch alongs from like a neutral perspective, is it something that you guys would like to see more of, just to kind of get more content out there? Or is it just like, we just stick with the show and we aren't going to watch this too much? Kind of let me know what you guys think and what we could do to improve. As this ball is turned over pretty cheaply by Tampa Bay, and this one goes back to Muse. Wow. Okay. I was a little afraid that we were just not going to see a ball get passed back to Muse all game long. the way that Archer shied away from playing that ball back to Muse later on in this half, probably about, I guess, 3 minutes ago now, I can't tell if it was like I think I have a better play behind me, but there's no way this overhead like flick is the best play. Just play it back to Muse. And I don't know if it's like I don't trust him or I don't trust myself to make this play. But if you're sitting there saying, I don't know if I trust myself to make this play, but you trust yourself with like this overhead flick, what are you? As Cal Jennings has a really good ball. Playing in deep, I really enjoy watching this deeper line Cal Jennings. It's really interesting to see him kind of drop back and play that role as something else we kind of seen with Tampa Bay all year long. And there's nothing wrong with taking your time and letting the build-up play happen naturally. But we've seen them have these opportunities and they just don't want to force the issue. And I think in the past we would see these Neil Collins teams just go for it because they know they can just win the ball back. They can just dominate as Freddie Kleeman just clatters into the Charleston player. It was Augie Williams. Should have known that. So far, this half has been fairly even, but I also feel like this has definitely been Charleston with the better run of play. Unfortunately, that they have to, and own goals happen, and you sit there and say, "Well, we were better except for the own goal," but that's one of the worst own goals. Oh man, that's tough. That's really tough. As whenever we're looking at these teams, I've said this a lot. Tampa Bay, on paper, if everybody's healthy, has the potential of being one of the best teams to ever do it in the championship. And I mean, ever. If you look at what's on paper, and part of what's on paper is not just the names on the roster, it's also the coach that does it. It's a system that you believe it works. And you look at the players they sign and you say, well, this works within the system. Everything about it seems to be right, except that they're just not getting it right. I don't really understand as the ball goes out of play. I was looking away for 1 second to update this because I'm a good podcast host. I'm sure some of you are just like, I wish you would just stop talking. And that's fair. Ball goes all the way back to Muse. I don't know. This is right now, I really enjoy watching how Charleston especially exploits this left-hand side. It seems like every good opportunity is coming from this left-hand side. And I don't know if that is they're looking at a weakness of Tampa Bay, because that'd be Antley and Doherty. It doesn't feel like you should be saying that they're the weakness of a team. I mean, they're one of the better players some of the better players in the league you can ask for. A lot of their, I guess, chances, a lot of the things that they try to do. I mean, if you're looking at traditionally, I guess, Traeger is out on that left side. That's just, or not traditionally. I mean, they didn't always have Traeger, but I say traditionally as in this is what they've been doing lately. Traeger's out there, and I don't know if it's a bit interesting to see that they are putting that much emphasis on him as they have another great opportunity going forward. Allen's carrying the ball, goes out to the left, I believe, to Traeger, as there's a ton of space in the middle of the park. A ton of space. Dodson is screaming for the ball, does not get it with miles of space, as I think he was off. I can't tell. So far, in this match, I mean, for people who are listening and are near their keyboards, kind of, I guess, the flow of the match with this Tampa Bay versus Charleston match. What are we kind of seeing? What do we kind of think that of the matchup going on? Because right now I'm kind of stuck in this mindset that Tampa Bay has been the much worse team, and they are extremely fortunate to be ahead because it wasn't even a forced mistake. It was just mistake. As Tampa Bay is trying to force a mistake, as I say that, we're seeing a bit of a higher press as there is a long ball forward, but a little too long, or for another goal kick. With Connor Sparrow, which we've seen Sparrow come back into this match. I think he got the start last week against the Miami FC. Sparrow is a guy who is one of the best goalkeepers in the league. I would say last year probably comfortably the third best in the league. I would put him as kind of 2A. There's to me a pretty not significant, but there's a noticeable drop off between Jordan Farr and Nate Steinwasser. And now, Sparrow and Blanchett are kind of up there too. But Sparrow to me, or even Kyle Morton last year, Sparrow and Morton, to me, I thought there was a big distinction between, this is a really good play for Cal Jennings. What a perfect tackle by Archer. He had to get that one perfect. I mean, just perfect in order to probably not even get a red card, because I think he was the last defensive player back on a scoring opportunity as they give Tampa Bay the foul, and Archer is not happy. That's Dodson. But, I mean, is it a foul? I mean, I'd say that Dodson got stepped on there. As Hilton stands over this ball with a minute of extra time, Lewis Hilton, underrated, one of the best free kick takers in the league. Ridiculously good at the whole free kick taking. So I'm interested to see what he does here. I almost want to see him go for this. I know he's going to put in a cross, but I almost want to see him just go for goal here. And he does not great. Looks like the wind knocked it down. It looked like it had a different trajectory, but the wind just kind of knocked that one down. As Tampa Bay is looking to get one last effort in. As that ball goes in, looking to blade up the line, doesn't quite work. Another throw in for Tampa Bay. This has to be the last throw. And I think they're just going to wait out the half. As soon as this ball's going in, it's probably going to be called off. It's probably going to be a whistle. And they don't even get to throw it in. Okay. So takeaways from the half. On goal, Charleston has been the much better team, in my opinion. Much better team with a couple of chances for Tampa Bay. But, the chances that they've gotten have just been better. Charleston, probably a little unfortunate to not get one, to not get a goal. Obviously, you got to put them on target to have a chance. But, I mean, I say that, but Tampa Bay didn't. I don't know, man. I think for Tampa Bay to win this game, and to really put their stamp down, because I don't see Charleston being shut out here. They got to move back to this 5-3-2 or this 3-5-2. They just have to. I don't see another way they can really close this game out and not. That's the only way they're going to score another goal. I don't see Tampa Bay really scoring right now. I don't know. But look, that's all going to be for me because, again, I need to talk to the bride-to-be. I don't want her to kill me. So thank you all for joining. Watch the last bit of this Fuego 1 Knox match. And, hey, if you did enjoy this, let us know. It it was a good time for me. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. We'll see if this becomes a permanent fixture. And thanks, guys. It's been the USL Show.